WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me in this segment is Denise Evans. Denise is the coordinator of Safe Passage here in Taylorville in Christian County, I believe,
Yes.
as Christian County. And Denise, good morning to you.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. And glad to have you back around. It's been a little while, and
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you, I think this is the first time I maybe got to sit down with you personally on the show. So I'm excited to be able to talk a little bit about some things going on with Safe Passage. And one thing you brought up to me was the addition of First United Methodist Church in Taylorville. What can you tell me there with
Yes.
that new relationship?
Yeah, we're excited about that. Anything we can do to make the public make it known, we're happy about. The First United Methodist Church here in Taylorville contacted me and wanted to know what they could do to help with Safe Passage. So I met with Pastor Hurley and Pastor Van Dyke. They said they were open to just about anything. They have a new addition to their church, and so they have a lot of room in there. It's very nice. So right now we're looking at starting to hold meetings over there. We also have meetings at the First Presbyterian Church, but we could always use more. And so we are getting hold of a recovery client who has quite a long time clean, and I think he's going to share the meetings. So next week, I think it is, I'm going to meet with him again and set up times and how we're going to do that. So be looking out for the times, and I'll post that on our page, the Safe Passage of Taylorville, so everybody can see that. I think we're going to make it also a little bit different.
Okay.
Because all the other meetings are the clients only, the recovery person only can go. So this one, we're going to have, let them invite like a spouse, mother, father, maybe one person to come with them, a support person, and they can come into the meeting also. I find a lot of times when I have a new client coming in and I explain to them, we like to keep up after their rehab is complete and we have meetings and everything. It's good to stay in a group of supporters. And a lot of times the person that's with the client, mother, father, spouse, will say, well, can I go to the meeting also? And I said, no, I can't even go to a private. But I think, we're going to try it and see how that works. Also, I want to make note that we still have Celebrate Recovery at the Davis Memorial Church on Tuesday evenings at 6, I think it is. They have a free dinner first, about 5:30, and then they go into this large sanctuary and have the testimonies or the whatever music or whatever they decide to have that week. So it's really nice. We have a lot of clients go to that, and I can go to that. Anybody can go to that.
Okay.
I always see a lot of people that I haven't seen for a while, and are clean and doing good and have jobs, and it really makes you feel good.
I'm sure that does. And I'd like to go back for just a moment to the addition with First United Methodist Church and some of those changes that you're thinking about with the meeting. Having a support person come to the meeting, what do you think that will do for those that are looking to get to a better place? Having that person that's with them, not just being by themselves in this fight. Obviously, that's why we bring everybody in this group, that you're not alone in this, but now they've got a support person. What do you think that means for the program?
I think that would be great, because anybody that is going through recovery needs support, whether it be from friends, family, or people that they meet at the meetings. whatever, but they have to stay in a support group after and during to help them along. I mean, it's just something it's hard to do by yourself. Um, when they go to rehab, they meet people there and they all support each other. Um, I see just from going to Celebrate Recovery once in a while, I see all the people that, not all, but a lot of people that have come to me at the beginning, and now they're all a group and they all support each other. And that really helps.
And I'm sure that means a lot to you too, to be able to see that kind of come
they're
together.
Yeah, completely different people than you make the very first. You don't recognize them sometimes.
And for a good reason, for a good, in a good way, and a completely changed person too. But I think having a person connected to you, whether that's a spouse or a mother or father, whatever the case might be, in addition to that group that's already going through your same struggle, now you have somebody at home that knows exactly what's going on. And now you have a group of folks that know exactly what's going on as well.
You have somebody at home that knows why the things are happening, and they find out. Where I've also had the parents or spouse ask if there's any groups or anything that they can go to so they can understand why this is happening, why the person's acting like this, what to do about it.
That's an interesting thing that I didn't think of until you mentioned that, where
living with it, I guess.
Yes. And maybe bringing folks that are living with it together to also understand it better. Maybe have a support group for that.
We could even have maybe meetings for that, you know, we'll see. But when I talk to him, that is a big thing, because, before the client comes to me to you go to rehab, when they're finally ready, you don't know what that parent or spouse that they're living with has lived through too. It's hard for both sides.
It is. And that person loves and cares for that other individual that's going through it. And that takes a mental toll on you too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I think this addition, or this partnership, we'll call it, with First United Methodist Church of Taylorville could be a very big deal. I'm excited to hear when you'll have new meeting times and things set up with that. And
I'll let everyone know.
And with Celebrate Recovery as well at the Davis Memorial Christian Church as well. Something to note there as well. What about numbers and Safe Passage right now, Denise? You mentioned to me that it's staying pretty steady, but what about numbers right now that you're seeing?
I've kind of averaged up from January through April, and we've helped about 14 a month, about 65 people, 64, something like that. And, that's average from what we usually do. Sometimes winter is a little bit higher because we have homeless people and they've given up. They finally decide, they want to go because they have no place to go, nothing, and but our numbers are still about the same, so that's good.
When somebody comes to you, Denise, and they say, I'm ready, it's time, how important is it for that person to make that decision on their own, to come to you prior to you having to maybe force them or lead them into that decision?
Right. That is the number one thing they have to do, is make their decision to walk into the police department to talk. A lot of people might not want to come to the police department, but that's where offices are at. And they find out that, they're not judged and they don't have to talk to police officers. My office is away from where the offices are at. So, it's hard for them, but it's the number one step. And I always tell them, once you got over the step of walking through the door, now you can do it. It's hard work, but you can do it. And when they go, like I said, when they go to rehab, they'll have all kinds of support.
And support is what is needed. And so that's why Safe Passage is so important. Celebrate Recovery is so important. And you see that with the numbers that you have regularly in the program. Well, we're joined right now by Coordinator of Safe Passage, Denise Evans, here on the morning show. We're going to come back around with Denise and talk a little bit more about the programs and everything new that's going on with Safe Passage to try and keep up with those numbers. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. We'll be right back around.
WTIM.
This is Joe Wills with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one business banker who understands their business and provides the right financial services to achieve their financial goals. Your business banker is your single source for all your financial needs, from cash management to lines of credit, from mortgages to equipment loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Taylorville Care Center's personalized therapy program gets you back to doing the things you used to do. Get private rooms and great medical care, providing you the therapy you need to return home. Family and friends can come by and cheer you on in your recovery. Whether you've been in the hospital or just need a little help, Taylorville Care Center's therapy program can get you up and going again. Stop by or give them a call at 824-9636. That's 824-9636. Taylorville Care Center, caring for the community for over 50 years.
Seeing is believing, and your new customers can now hear and see your message. Deliver your message on our 6 Miller Media Group radio stations. And now, potential customers will see your message on our new 36 by 72-inch two-sided electronic sign installed in front of our Taylorville studios on Illinois Route 29. You have the opportunity of having your message seen by over 11,200 drivers a day. Contact your Miller Media Group account manager today and deliver your message through your potential customers' ears and eyes.
There's only one Central Illinois radio station that brings you the memories of the 60s and early 70s as you are cruising down the streets of your hometown. The dial position is 98.3 FM. The station is 98.3 WSVZ. From Macon to Vandalia and I-55 to I-57, cruising 98.3 plays the hits from early Elvis in the 60s to the British invasion of the Beatles, Herman's Hermits, and many more from the 1960s. Then we swing into the early half of the 1970s with artists like the Guess Who, the Doobie Brothers, and Elton John. Every song brings back something you remember about growing up. Set a button and crank up the station, playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power, cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
Just Beds are the yawn exterminators, and they can give you a better night's sleep. Choose from Bemco, Chatham & Wells, Sealy, Simmons, and Tempur-Pedic. Find out the many models and styles available on their updated website by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
At Land of Lincoln Credit Union, you can bank on learning more. Find out how they can help you and your family with their products and services by clicking their banner ad on top of the police blotter page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me is Coordinator of Safe Passage, Denise Evans. We talked a little bit about the addition of First United Methodist Church in that first segment, numbers in Safe Passage right now, and the Celebrate Recovery program. One thing I wanted to highlight in a conversation that before we got on the air today was something you mentioned to me about the relapse rate and how low that really is. What can you tell me about there?
It is very low. Very seldom do we have someone call and say, I've relapsed, I need help again. But if they do relapse, that's all they have to do is call us back, say, I need help. And we'll make an appointment, come in. Really, we don't ask any questions. We just start completely over. Find them a facility to go to and get them back in, get them started. Sometimes they get off track. They might meet some of their older friends. And, one thing they have to understand is they do all this hard work to get themselves clean. And if they come back home, their older friends don't care if they're clean or not. They're just looking for that next dollar to make, to sell some stuff. And they know they're clean and everything, but they don't care.
And that's the tough part of it.
It's
I think
sad,
for a lot of people.
And, maybe they do care. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe they do care, but they are so into the drug. The drug has them, and they just are not thinking,
Right. And it's probably fairly easy to do when your mind is that
right.
Wrapped around getting your next fix. But the fact that so many folks are sticking to the program,
Mhm.
are sticking to sobriety, I think is a very important piece to it. And it goes back to kind of having the right support group. If you come
That's
back
right.
and you're out of that support group,
Right.
and all of a sudden you're back with the old friends.
That's who you find it relapses. But that's why I said it's very important to stay in a good group.
And the good group with Safe Passage is the best place to maybe do that right there. Always in need of volunteer help.
Yes.
And what volunteer help are we kind of looking for at this moment?
Drivers, volunteer drivers. When the person comes in and we find them a room in a facility, that a person there tells us what time, what date, what time they can be there. And so then we call our volunteer drivers and they take them.
So volunteer drivers are needed.
Yes.
Donations, are those needed on your end?
Always. Our grant that we had ran out last June 30th. And so we have been working without a grant since then. But, you can ask anybody. I'm dedicated to this program. So, we're not going to quit it as big as we've got it, going now. So we're supposed to be getting a grant in June, next month. Chief Wheeler is very good about it. He's been working on it this whole time. He's a very good grant writer for the police department. And we had one, but due to the federal government, they cut grants out for a while. So we lost that one. And now this one, we're just hoping. It's supposed to start 1st of June.
I feel as if that would probably be a great benefit for you guys moving forward. Now, when it comes to the grant money itself, is that used to bring somebody to a facility, get them in a facility, things of that nature?
It's used for, yes, a lot of things. And people don't realize how much this program costs. It is used to take them to the facilities. It's used for, a lot of times they'll come in, they'll have nothing to take. So we get them a little bit of clothing to take. It's used for all kinds of things. They just, and a lot of times they'll have no place to stay. Maybe I can't get them in for a day or so, and they might not have a place to stay. So we get them a room at a local motel and then take them. And it's just a lot of work goes into it.
A lot of work and a lot of dollars needed to be able to keep this up and running. Well, we've got less than a minute here, Denise, and I'd love for you to be able to get some contact information out there to the folks that are listening out there. Okay.
Our phone number at Safe Passage, the police department, is 217-777-0080. And that's the Taylorville City Police Department.
And there's another way of reaching or seeing these bits of information on your Facebook page as well. Is that a good place to go?
And we have a page called Safe Passage of Taylorville.
And that's where you can go to get some updates there as well. Well, Denise, thank you for joining me here this morning to talk about Safe Passage. I definitely appreciate that here on this end. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville.
96.1 FM Taylorville.
107.5 FM Shelbyville.
107.9